Get rich without trying? 2 habits that actually move the needle, according to one. A self-made millionaire says 2 low-friction habits helped him build wealth without working 80-hour weeks. According to Cindy Lamont at Yahoo Geo Bank Rates, the media company, entrepreneur Matthew Tran, founder of Birchbury, credits a minimalist wardrobe and creating intellectual property. On clothes, he stopped chasing trends and bought a few durable pieces, saving thousands of dollars and mental bandwidth. He credits this for making him rich. He said, quote, instead of always refreshing my wardrobe, I buy items that I know will last for years, he says, and that discipline spills into other spending. The bigger lever is IP, intellectual property. Rather than only selling shoes, he built assets, patents, designs, and trademarks that earn royalty. I've been able to license certain product designs and materials, he says, so money comes in even when he isn't launching new products. The takeaway isn't magic, it's systems. Reduce wasteful spending, then own something that pays you. So what's the real message here? All sorts of successful people are going to put on their guru hat and tell you what will make you rich. Sometimes it's good advice. Other times it's things like wear the same thing every single day, and it's completely irrelevant to their success. It's just a personal preference. Let's dig a little deeper here. Now, certainly there are well-known successes like Steve Jobs and someone following his footsteps, Mark Zuckerberg, who pretty much wore the same thing every day. Former President Barack Obama did the same thing, where he said, I didn't want to have to tax my brain making more decisions. I had to make so many decisions as president. Steve Jobs had to make so many decisions as CEO of Apple. They didn't want that cognitive load of figuring out, what do I wear today? So they wore basically the same thing every day. Obama wore a white shirt and a dark suit, a blue or a gray suit. No decision to be made. But is that how they became rich? I think you've got to be very about. Now, this particular entrepreneur, I was not familiar with Matthew Tran, but apparently he's successful. You always have to wonder when someone says, here's the reason for my success. Is that why, or is that simply a correlation? So many successful CEOs, especially tech CEOs in America, say it's because I'm smart and I work harder than anyone else. Well, there are a lot of people who work hard. I have a certain family member I can think of who is an insanely hard worker, never able to build net worth because she wasn't in high-paying jobs. So it can't simply be that. A lot of people who are wildly successful had tremendous luck. A lot of them are the beneficiaries of various biases in society. Well-known podcaster, investor, entrepreneur Scott Galloway is very upfront saying the smartest thing he ever did was be born in the early 1960s as a white, straight male. That was the big thing that helped him because it helped him get a free pass on so many aspects of life. It made him instantly credible in so many business situations. You may think that's politically correct claptrap. Okay. But I do want you to be skeptical. I want you always looking for secrets of how to be learning from others, learning from successful people, but then you've got to filter it, which is what this show is about. Filter it for what is truly meaningful and what isn't. Because let's face it, if it were wearing the same thing every day making you successful, a lot of homeless people would be really successful because they wear the same thing every day. They only have one pair of clothes. So that obviously can't. I do think as a basic principle in life, something that makes a tiny, far less than 1% of a difference, at least for me, is not spending a lot of time on clothes. I invested in a tailor from Savile Row in London. Sorry if this sounds like I'm bragging. Many years ago. So when I get dressed for you every day, I do change my clothes, but I have a different suit for every day of the week, but I'm not spending any time thinking about it. This suit is, I believe, 18 years old now or 17 years old, tailored to me, and it fits perfectly. And I don't have to think about it. This is, I believe, the Monday suit since it's Monday. So I have 7 suits. I've got a handful of identical blue shirts, and I don't have to think about it. It's right there. And most of my suits were all made 10, 15, 20 years ago. And by investing in quality, they hold up well. And I don't have to spend any of my time shopping or very little time shopping. Is that why I'm successful? Is that why Steve Jobs was successful? That's a teeny, tiny part because Kim Kardashian spends a lot of time shopping. She has a lot of clothes and they're not all 15, 20 years old. She's wildly successful. She's much wealthier than I am. So clearly spending as little time as possible on clothing is not the solution. I do think having focus is helpful and not scattering your attentions to just doing what everyone else does, which is spending all your free time either shopping or watching entertainment. I do think there's something to that. Now, the second critical reason he gave to his own wealth, I do think is valid. He created intellectual property. And that's just a fancy way of saying you wrote a book, you wrote a computer program, you created an online course, you created videos that continue to get views on YouTube or TikTok or other places. You created something, you created a movie, you wrote a song, you created something where you put it in a format, audio, video, text, bits in a computer that people can access while you're asleep. I do think that for most people, that is, if not always the best solution for generating wealth, one they should have as a part of their wealth building practice. Because if you're just selling your time, it's much, much harder to make money. It's not impossible. If you are a lawyer at one of the most successful, prestigious law firms in New York City or London, you might be making $5 million a year. And you're not selling any books, you're not creating software, you're using your intellect, but you're selling your time. So it's untrue that you cannot get rich from selling your time. If you're a manager of the largest nonprofit hospital in your community, at least in the United States, statistically speaking, you're likely to be the highest paid person in your community. That's right, being a manager, you're not creating intellectual property. Having said that, very few of us can climb the ranks of being the number one administrator of hospitals in our entire community. Very few of us are going to be partners at top law firms in New York City or London, whereas any of us can create online courses, books, videos, software, and you can do it without gatekeepers. The number one factor in my own wealth is creating intellectual property. I have created not one or two or three online courses, but if you saw the ads earlier, you already know. I've created more than 300 online video-based communication skills courses and personal development courses. You can do the same thing. You don't have to have a fancy microphone or camera. You can do it with your cell phone. So I do think that I won't say it's easy to make money from intellectual property, but it is the easiest thing you can do if you already have one job and you're working as hard as you can, and you're already trying to save money, and you're trying to build wealth, and you're trying to restrict time you waste just watching video entertainment. Spend an hour a day creating something. It might be a novel that never sells any copies, but at least gets you into the habit of creating intellectual property. And in our modern era of everything interconnected on the web and being able to reach anyone in the world and a potential marketplace of 8 billion people, I'm still a huge, huge fan of creating intellectual property as a means to building wealth.